Well, that's both a short but fast bilge pump that was. We're quite empty now, a little bit in there but not too much. And we're ready to rock and roll. The wind's obviously coming from up this way, so we're going to be reaching down the lake today. So that means if we come off the mooring by sail, we've got to be very careful not to hit anything and drift, because that's the way we're going to drift. If the wind had been southwesterly, we'd have nothing to drift onto other than a few moorings up there. So I'm going to go for it, even though there's not much wind. I still think there's enough to move, so yeah, let's try that out. If all else fails, what you can do is get a paddle out, and that will help us on our way. There we go. We'll keep that handy for now. See, we are making headway actually. Albeit nice and slowly. And then hopefully we'll be on our way. As you might know from watching the channel now, once we get beyond roughly these white boats, the wind does sort of pick up just a tickle. Still in the moorings. Fishing boat up there. Look, you may be able to see. I think I know the guy in that fishing boat because I recognise the boat. There's two of them. You can see the wind has changed. Look at the boat swung round. Suddenly coming from this easterly direction, which doesn't help us one bit because this is a windward shore now. So we have got the paddle out, and then what's interesting with the paddle is I found this out when we were on the sea. You can paddle, obviously the boat will want to turn. If I'm paddling on the port side, the boat will, if you look, will automatically see want to turn to starboard. But if you just adjust the rudder to port slightly, and you can actually fix it with the line, then you can paddle one side and steer straight, which today is a bit of a necessity of a skill. Cara. Don't get to see this one often. Looks very unused, doesn't it? In fact, it's so quiet, so calm, that I've just realised, you'll see this is Kev's lugger over here, Black Magic, and he's been needing his cover sorting out, but of course the last few weeks have been quite difficult to do that. But it's so calm that I think we could maybe risk just bobbing up and seeing if we can truck that cover somehow underneath. So I'm going to do that. Bloody hell, that must be the world's most tight cover, but I've kind of got that white old cover. I have no idea why he's got that still on the boat when he's got this brand new green one, which is more than adequate for this boat. But there we go, tucks it under there, so hopefully that'll be a little bit better. Right, let's go. Okay, so according to these boats, we should be beam reaching now. And just as we got here, I've just felt a bit of wind. And yes, oh, I did see, I promise you, I saw 0.9 miles an hour then. Oh, 0.7. We are moving, because look. So I'm hoping when we get a little bit over to the other side of the lake, we'll find some wind. But we're at least we're on our way. A nice, leisurely sail. Quite frankly, this is quite lovely, to be honest with you. I'm enjoying myself actually. Someone asked me this week about my is it Plastimo or Plastimo compass. Now, he was actually inquiring as to whether having it over there, it was being altered, you know, by the metal that's near it. So I do have an anchor over there, but not much else, to be frank. So what we could do, while it's so calm, let's try and get the boat floating roughly down the middle there. I've got the tiller tamer on, so we can keep a fairly good course. As long as I'm not moving around too much, things tend to stay on the track, and I could actually sit in the middle of the boat. That would always help. So we can use the White House. So let's see. You may be able to see the White House just left, well, dead ahead really. And I'm just gonna put those two up. What have we got there? So 255, we are just slightly gone off course here. But we're moving so little, as long as we take a bearing of that White House, it doesn't really matter. I'm not actually trying to take a bearing of our course. Now, if we put this here now, and I'll try and marry it up there. So this is now right by the centreboard case. I'm having to move it a little bit. And you can see that we're definitely on 240 there. So I'm going to move back up. Still pointing at that White House. Yep, 255. It'll probably bob back to 250. If I put it there, it seems to be okay. If I put it down there, look at that. If I put it up there. So that's interesting. Now we're going to pop it back in here and just see what happens now. And I purposely put it there to keep it away from everything. And the anchors are all on the right hand side anyway. But let's just see now, because that's fixed, we just got to make sure we're pointing the boat right at the White House, which we need to just do there. There we go, roughly there. And that's saying 250. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a bit, it is going to be a bit more than 250, because there you go. So it's saying just under 250, but before we were off. So before we were off and pointing towards the White House. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you can see how metal does affect the compass, but I think where it is good. We're going to try and do some wing on wing. So, I've got my spinnaker pole, just got to stop telling you that, which is going to go on the Mizzen, but we're going to do that last. Try not to lose the spinnaker pole. Let's put it there. And this is my new jib stick. So let's see if we can make this work. Now, I've been waiting for these for ages. They're like little clips with springs in them. And what they should do is provide a much quicker, easier and safer way of doing this. So there's the clip that goes there. And let's try that again. There you go. Yeah, that works. So let's get that sorted out. We'll try and get the jib out on the starboard side. We have actually jibed accidentally, but there we go. So let's get that main back over. And now we'll get this stuck in, and then I'll show you how I do that with the hand cam once I've set it up. So you can see it's very rudimentarily held on here with this line that ties the sail on, and it's just clipped at the end there, look. And then that line should keep it nice and tight, but it's not, we're not having any of it today. So let's see if we can just alter the course a bit. One thing I like about the jib is that once it's set, you know, with that stick, it just stays out there. So unlike the jib, you can't really tighten that up. You need almost like a little retainer to hold it there. So it's a bit like the main. It'll go where the wind sort of wants it to go. But when you're doing running in a lugger or a yawl rig or a ketch rig, you want the mizzen and the jib one side and you want the main t'other. But the main is really now struggling to get out. So let's give it a bit of help. So normally with a boom, you see, you would get that set with the boom and you could then put your retainer on. But at the moment we're having a real struggle, aren't we, here? You can see from the boats the wind's changed, so we need to just come to starboard a little, but we've got to be really careful. There we go, and that will get the main set. Now normally when you've just got a Bermuda rig with the jib and main, you know, the jib will stay there, so you can actually come around, there you go, and let the main set, and the jib will sort of stay there. There we go. And we are actually doing we were doing 1.4 miles an hour for a minute. Now that's good that the the mizzen has stayed there. Now look at that. Look at that shape. How the boom has straightened that sail out. And look at the jib. I personally think the jib stick I had before was a little bit big, a little bit long. But look how much air that is going to capture from behind us, and look how much air that's going to capture. When it's got that W, which it's sort of, well, this is what the main is doing. You can see. Let's just get back online. Oh, we've changed again. Let's there we go. You can see the main does that kind of W around the shroud, and then there's just nothing, no power in the sail. If you straighten the sail out like this, you can feel the power in the end of that sail. But now look, you see we've gone too far. So look, the mizzen has swung around. Now what we can do is set the boom up now. I mean, the conditions are so benign today, we can set the boom up and we'll see what a difference it makes. So I'm going to do that now. I'll put the camera on behind me so you can see me actually do it and how quick it is to get going. Here we go. First thing I do is make sure the boom needs to come out of here. Whoop. A little bit. There we go. That's on the bottom, that's on the top. The first thing I do is I get it into the is it gooseneck, I think? Here. Whoop. And in many ways this is the hardest bit, getting this little pin through. There we go, that's in. Then release the clue, not the clue or the tap, I never remember. Let that go. And then this little shackle will go through the new clue. We have to release that a little. There we go. I'm using a shackle at the moment because the clips I've got were just a bit big, so I couldn't really get the sail tight. Then we can kind of let that sail go in these conditions. I'm now going to connect the main sheet to the bottom of the boom here, and then the final thing to do is we need a shackle. There we go. I wonder what this shackle here was for. Then the shackle, let's loosen this off as much as it can. I've got all these little bits, mirror from a mirror dinghy. So you always find mirror spares online. There you go. The only thing we need is a kicker, but I'm going to attempt to sort of maybe not use the kicker. And we should have a little retainer. I'm literally going to put that on there because it will stop it, hopefully. I think in these conditions we're not going to struggle too much. Two. 1.9. Oh, there's a tiniest little breeze I've just felt. Maybe you get to, oh no. There you go. That could be the secret to maybe trying to keep up with these with the wayfarers and whatnot when they're when we go, you know, cruising with them, because I think Mark and Norman and Norman's son, I think I'll definitely like to go, you know, cruising with them again. I find them good company. Just don't like the boat. Well, I love the boats they sail. Just don't like sailing with them in the lugger. If I could keep up with them, it would just be an immense sail. So, who knows? So, technically, you want this sail to be a bit baggier when you're reaching. So, we're going to just let that out a tickle. You know, these are very rudimentary sail controls, you know, on this boat. But, you know, it allows you to shape the sail a little bit. We are making progress. So I've just wound that around the little racing cleat there, and I've pulled the main out. The something's sticking over there. Don't know what it is, but I've now got the main much flatter and out. Don't like that sort of crease down the middle, but you know, will live. And now we are doing more consistent too. I can live with this. Yeah, definitely live with this. There's marker E. You can actually see how much we're moving. We're fluctuating from 1.8 with 1.92 miles an hour at the moment. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this, especially now the main is retained and out. That's a real boost to the performance, I think. And it's the first time I've ever actually had this boat running with all the sails pulled out. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was just about to get the drone out, you know, cheeky drone flyer, and I'm glad I didn't, because look how low he is. Crikey. I mean, he's not even 50 metres from the ground, is he? If we can put that sort of there, don't need much. We have just enough elasticity in there. There you go, and that'll force it out that way, which is brilliant. Don't have to worry about that so much now. There's Pirates Cove. And the weather station just over there with Enchanted Forest just behind it. And look at this, look. We are moving along at a merry old pace of 2.5 miles an hour now. I do rather like that. Oh, just a little gust here, 2.6. I wanted to see just if we could compare our speed to the current in the water. So I've got a little tiniest piece of bread off my sandwich. Oh, let's go. Put that in there. Look at that. So that's how much faster than the current we're actually going as well. We just hit 2.8 miles an hour there. Here's our friend back. The only trouble with having all your sails flying is you can't record aeroplanes going over you can't see them. My experiment with the mainsail boom is a definite success. In terms of adding performance and sailability to the Drascombe Lugger, it's night and day sometimes, especially when beating and running, where you really need that sail, shape there. There are, however, a few cons to it, especially when cruising. The first major one is that boom's quite low. So unless we can find a way of pushing the sail up, but obviously, we don't want to risk damaging the gaff or, making the boat overpowered in terms of putting too much sail too high. That's something you've got to think about. Although, would I want the boom hitting me in here rather than the head? Maybe he's better. The other negative is where you stow the boom. So that is something I'm thinking about. Maybe have a look at over the winter. Nice day for a canoe. I guess canoers pray for no wind, I guess, yeah. Unless you've got it with you, I guess. Sailors, however, are always praying not for wind, but for the right wind. We don't want 40 mile an hour, really. We want 16 knots. 12 to 16 would be perfect for this boat. We've got to start beam reaching. So we're going to get the boom unclipped here. Oh, got the retainer there as well. Let's get that sorted for now. There we go. So that's one pole done. And now we just need to get the boom and the jib stick in. There we go. We'll just get that in for now. Whoops. And then all we need to do is pull that through. So it's on the side. Oh, beg your pardon. Oh. We can't have that retainer on. There we go. Tighten up the mizzen. And now we're reaching. We want it this way. There we go. So little wind. There's so little wind that I'm going to cleat the main. There's so little wind. Just had to put some suntan lotion on. Really, I didn't bring my cap or my hat because I thought it's going to be a nice October, 5 degrees October day. And where did this come from? Amazing, amazing. These gentle somber sails, as long as you've got enough wind, are just as lovely as the exhilarating sails. Sometimes you just want to go flat out, get the gunnels in the water, and and have a good old sail. Other times, this is what you want. And today, this is what I want today. It's lovely. Absolutely lovely. Wow, here he goes. Trainer jet. You can see by the flag, well, oh, you could see by the flag, we're sort of on the limit of broad reaching. We really want to come this way a little bit, but the reason I'm doing that is you may be able to see over there is this is Llangower Bay, where the train station stops. And we really haven't been here, have we, at all this season? In fact, we haven't been down this end of the lake much. I love the cruising aspect of sailing. In fact, again, quite a few people have asked me what I love about sailing, whether it's racing or, you know, the DIY and whatnot. And I should do a proper full post on this, but I love cruising. Adventure is my middle name, if you like. So the sea, getting on the sea, you know, adventuring, camping overnight, going around Anglesey, all of that is what turns me on. And when I was here the first year on the little mirror in Lake Barla, this was like an ocean to me. All the trials and tribulations we went through. It's like a mini circumnavigation of the world in a weird way. But you soon grow out of it, and you do want more. You do want more, you know. Here we are. Llangower Bay, which is like a beach in the summer. Sort. There we go. Well, I'm hoping we can actually do a bit of running again now. So out comes the poles. I'm going to try and run. Should have the angle for it as long as the wind's not changed. Be on the same angle as before. Take this out. And then we'll get those retainers on there again. They work quite well. Just a little bit of elastic for now, but in this breeze I think that's fine. The spinnaker stick here the wrong way round, so I haven't got the up and down haul this side, so I have to remember that. But I've actually just tied it. Let me show you. Just tied it onto the string. Seems to be doing the job. In this wind we're okay. And actually look, 1.8 miles an hour, 1.9 now. That's about the right tack there, the right angle. There we go. 240 was roughly it. See, the sail's a bit twisted as well, which is causing that crease down there. So the reason for that is I think I've got the knot 90 degrees wrong on the gaff. So when we stop and anchor up round the corner here in the bay, we'll have a look at that. We're nearly there. We have to take a wide berth. You can see where the fishing boat is. That's probably the limit of where I'd want to be in the yacht with the centreboard down. So we're going to get maybe go past this mooring, this white little marker there on our starboard, and then we'll have to bring the poles in and turn to starboard, and we'll head into there on a beam reach really. Here's that little marker. I don't think it is a mooring, I think it's a marker. So we're going to gently now get the pole down, and we're going to sort of just bear on to the wind a little, go and settle in that bay over there. All the sails are down. Oh, I think the mizzen's up, because the mizzen can give you a little bit. Oh, let me keep paddling. There's the beach to the campsite. It's a great campsite, that, actually. Stayed there, I think we stayed there one night last year. Brilliant if you've got a boat, isn't it? And then this is a little river that goes up here. So I'm going to go try and get up there as far as we can. We'll stop there for lunch.